I've got an itch I can't scratch, I'm missing a piece that completes a whole part of me, an open wound scar to see. Everybody come here, gather round, welcome to the freak show, the best in town. What the hell's wrong with me? I don't get along with anybody, honestly. I've been living in my own head constantly, thoughts jumbled round, think I need a new lobotomy. Wait, all these thoughts are too negative, I don't wanna get lost in the sedative. Gotta show them what I got, I'm competitive. You know I'm about to go off, I won't let them win, I'll take a stab. I wanna chase a bag, I wanna weigh, I can change all the things I lack. I gotta face the facts, I got a taste in that. Got me obsessed with the rest, I got an itch to scratch. Lonely now, I'll give up everything. Daunting all, if I can see my dreams, I'll make things right. 'Cause I'll do anything to make what I wanna reality. Don't let go, don't let go. I'll make.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to My RP Life. I'm your host, Juan. Please don't forget, like, share, and subscribe wherever you at. Whether you're listening to this on YouTube or on Spotify or any other platforms you listen to your podcast on. And I got a special guest, once again, my queen, Debbie. Love you, baby. And what is the title of this video podcast we're doing?
The title is, what is the fascination with the Mafia?
What is the fascination with the Mafia, ladies and gentlemen? So enjoy this because there's gonna be some shiznit, dog. But anyways, what is the fascination with the Mafia? So the way I got this idea was from a YouTuber who used to be with the mob. He's not in the mob no more. He's retired. So shout out to Michael Franzese for giving me this idea. So baby, do you have your part on that of the fascination?
I don't know. What's Mafia? Anyway.
You're real funny right now, but go ahead.
I think there is a fascination with Mafia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. Bleep. Let me go back. I really think that there maybe not as much of a fascination as there used to be.
Right.
Because, I can date myself here because I'm a woman of a certain age and I'm a native New Yorker. Shout out to New York. So, back in the mid 80s, early 90s, the late
70s.
Infamous, may he rest in peace, John Gotti.
The Teflon Don.
Dapper Don. Don't forget Dapper Don.
Dapper Don was the first one.
Those ties and those pocket squares always matching. Shout out. Anyway.
Right.
You couldn't pick up a paper in New York and not have him on the cover.
Right.
And know what he was doing, whether he was out somewhere or whether he was, skating off free on a nude, on a different trial.
Right.
So I think everyone was, and he did a lot for, his community and stuff like that. And I think people were, there was a certain kind of respect and definitely a fascination. I mean, I was always fascinated by the Mafia and stuff like that, and I still kind of am. And you got to think back. Let's go back to HBO. Shout out to HBO and The Sopranos. Every Sunday night, I was by that television watching that show to see what Tony Soprano, late great James Gandolfini, may he rest in peace, was up to. There's a certain, I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it like mystery to the lifestyle. I think maybe we all might know somebody at one point or some, some of us might know somebody that might be connected,
right,
so to speak. there's always somebody that you don't really know exactly how they got their money or how they know this person, they know that person. There's always kind of a mystery to it.
Yeah, because back in the days, me growing up as a kid in the 80s, when was it Scarface, Godfather, and was it the Goodfellas and stuff? When those came out, I was fascinated with, how you say it again?
Fascinated.
Yeah, that shit right there, right? So when I was like that growing up as a kid, I was like, wow, that's something I wanted to be when I was growing up. But I was like, there was real like quiet kids and stuff. Like growing up as a kid, I was real quiet, never started no problems with nobody. But I used to watch those movies. And like my baby was saying about John Gotti, when I started learning about him and who he was through like the newspapers and on the news and stuff, you know, I was like, what? I was like, so do you gotta be full-blooded Italian? You know, but you can't be Puerto Rican in the mob. You might be an associate, but that's about it. But what you call it? But you wouldn't be able to be like, you know, put into it like that.
You couldn't allegedly be a made guy if they couldn't trace your roots back.
Right, because I think the father has to be full-blooded Italian, but the mother, she wouldn't have to be full-blooded Italian and stuff like that. Or if the mother was Italian, but the father was like Irish or whatever, the only way I think that could happen is if the mother had mob ties, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. But most women weren't really in the mob like that, even though I think there was like one or two that's not really been spoken of and stuff. But but with that fascination, I also learned about what's his name, Al Capone, you know, and some other mob guys, you know, throughout the years and stuff. Growing up as a kid, I was really fascinated with that and stuff, especially through the movies, you know, like seeing Joe Pesci and, you know, all these other actors and stuff like that, and Al Pacino and The Godfather and
Robert De Niro
and stuff like that. I was real, you know, I was like, wow. Like, but then after I started learning the history, I was like, are all these guys like out there doing bad things? But not all of them were. Like, people are under the assumption that, you know, these mob guys are all bad, you know, which they done a lot of good. Like, they don't go around just killing people to just kill people. Like, it was kept within the mob, whether it be about drugs or not about drugs and stuff like that. You know, how do I say this? Like, the beef wasn't with other street guys, not unless they were mob street guys. You know what I mean? They kept their community clean. You know, they didn't let nobody come into their community to disrupt what they got. You know what I mean? Because as soon as you open up shop, they're gonna be like, who's you? They're coming in deep there. And they're coming in there like Dapper Don and Teflon Don, you know, with the suits on and stuff, being all proper, you know, and they'll tell you in a nice way, you got to go, Jack, you know. But if you want to go and start some ruckus, then there's gonna be something, you know, some beef there. And that's when you're either wearing cement shoes or end up getting thrown in
Allegedly.
get thrown up in a freaking barrel of acid.
Allegedly.
Just saying.
Alleged.
Yeah, you could throw the alleged. That's fine. But I'm just gonna speak my mind.
Trying to step on nobody's toes.
Yeah, we ain't trying to step on nobody's toe. We just, you know, going with what we know and from what we've heard throughout the years. And so you got anything else you want to talk about that?
No, I think that the fascination has maybe just died down, or maybe it's not politically correct anymore to, let people know that you are still intrigued by this.
Yeah, it's organized crime, and it's still organized because there are still mob guys out there, but they're just not, making it known like back in the 80s and 70s before internet, So they're doing their things totally different. It's more.
Well,
go ahead.
Oh no, I definitely agree that there's, you probably don't hear about it as much anymore because of the internet, because there's different ways that you can go about to do what you need to do.
Yeah, business-wise.
These people, men, women, don't need to be out in the street talking to people and going, wherever and meeting in different places. Everything you can do it on a Zoom call now.
Yeah, but even with that, you got to be careful on the words you choose and how you say things, because
of course,
was it Eagle Eye is always watching.
Big Brother's always watching and listening.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I was going to say something, but you said something and threw me off. I forgot what it was. But yeah, so like now organized crime is more organized and it's not really much of a crime. Not unless, like, they don't go out like back in the 80s and 70s threatening people. You know what I mean? They don't do that no more. It's totally different now. Back in the days when they were wearing the suits and being gentlemen and stuff, they're still doing that now, most of them. There's not that many OGs around. Now, if you look on YouTube, you'll find most of these OGs doing interviews with like Michael Franzese and other mob guys who used to be about that life, but now that they're like retired, even though they're probably still in the mob, but they're not as prominent in the mob like that because they're old. Like someone who I know Debbie don't like and I don't like. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Don't you be mentioning my no damn names like I'm missing tomorrow.
See now, you see what you just said, right? End up going missing.
Mm-hmm.
The way technology is nowadays, God forbid if something like that was to happen, okay, you might end up going missing, right? But they end up catching the person who made you end up going missing. Even though they still haven't found what's his face.
Still haven't found Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, they still haven't found him. Even though Michael Franzese, I think, gave a little hint, but he ain't trying to say nothing. But talk about Sammy the Bull, right? With him, they say he snitched, he did this, he did that. There's lots of things on public record that everybody can find out of, whether it be YouTube recordings of videos from court and stuff like that. You can find all of that stuff, But with him, hey, from what I'm listening, even though he snitched and whatever, but if you listen to him like talk about John and how John was acting real funny and funky towards him when they were all locked up, because they had all got locked up at one point and stuff like that. But regardless of the fact, he still snitched. You know what I mean? So two wrongs don't make a right. And it is what it is. He paid off his time for it. He's an old man now. Even though he still act like he's that gangster dude because of the stuff he's been through in the past and stuff. Because I've been hearing him on YouTube. He does get real loud and angry real quick. But he's also changed a lot also throughout the years because now he's older. and stuff. So that's pretty much what I got, baby. Oh yeah, so with me, did I ever wanted to be that mob guy? I know I wouldn't be able to, but growing up here in Red Hook, in Brooklyn, I've done a lot of things that I'm not too proud of, you know, and it made me money, and I've lost money, and I've done a lot of things during that time as a teenager and a young adult before leaving Red Hook and stuff like that. So, but that's gonna be another topic for another story if you want to know about my RP life before I went blind. So anything else, my love?
I don't believe so.
All right. So you guys all take care. Have a blessed day wherever you're listening to this on your podcast and stuff. Follow me on any of the platforms you're listening to me on. Check me out on YouTube at My RP Life. Like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, go right on ahead at My RP Life 1 on Twitter. Thank you, my love, for being here and being a part of this. I love you with all my heart. God bless everyone who's listening to this later on. So peace out, y'all. Blessings.